We are joined by Dr. Cheng Cheng, the lead of Asian partnerships at the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA. Thank you for joining us, Doctor. Thank you for joining us here on Africa Live. Now, in line with this year's World Hunger Day 2025 theme, Sowing Resilience, what interventions can African countries make by way of policy and practical interventions that can make African farmers more resilient, especially towards climate change? Doctor.
Yes, thank you for having me. This is a terrific question. Actually, we already start to work. In this January, the African Union Extraordinary Summit on the Post-Malabo Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, the CADIP, was held in Kampala, Uganda, and AGRA was a facilitator for this event. And we adopted the 10-year CADIP strategy and action plan. And most importantly, we also issued the Kampala CADIP Declaration on Building Resilient and Sustainable Agri-Food System in Africa, which will be implemented in the next 10 years. So the aim for the CADIP is that a new agricultural development strategy will see the continent increase its agri-food output by 45% by 2035 and totally transform its agri-food system. Like in the new stage, we are seeing more and more investment from the global multinationals into Africa. And we're also seeing the climate change has become the biggest threat to the food security here in Africa. And the policy is over there. If you want me to see the actual actions, I want to see climate resilient seeds, climate smart irrigation system as the infrastructures, and more post-harvest management, more smart way, more climate adaptive way. Those three are the most important to me.
All right, Dr. Cheng Cheng, you alluded to this in your earlier answer. Now, China-Africa cooperation, especially in the modernization of agriculture, is one of the key areas that is being emphasized in bilateral relations. What lessons can Africa learn that can help the continent to feed itself and transform Africa or agriculture from a struggle to more of a thriving business for farmers?
Well, again, a terrific question. I think the first and foremost is the real political and financial commitments from the top leadership all across Africa. That's what AGRA has been trying to push for the past 18, 19 years. It is one fact that I'm Chinese, okay? So in my home country, China, for 22 years, the #1 central decree from the top leadership in China issued every January, the first one along the year, will be the one on agriculture and rural affairs. For 22 years has been like this. Just I cannot think of any African countries that has been doing this. Like the top leadership of the country has been focusing on rural and agricultural development for over 2 decades. Every year, the first government policy is always on agriculture and rural affairs. This shows the attitude of the leadership towards agriculture and rural development. And about finance, AGRA is trying very hard to lift up the utility rate of tractors in Africa's agriculture, right? And we found a bloody truth that over in Asia, in China and ASEAN countries, if you buy one tractor, over 50% of the price will be paid by government subsidies. And how much money African farmers can get from our government? That's a question we really have to answer. I think, generally speaking, African governments need a more holistic approach to tackle the problem of low development of agricultural sector. Use more like the food system lens, just like the UNEP report you were quoting, and or combine agricultural development and rural development together, like China has been doing in the past decades. That would be my suggestions.
All right, finally, before we let you go, AGRA is the only supporting organization from Africa of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Agriculture. What would you say are the key milestones and impacts that have been achieved so far under this collaborative effort?
Thank you. So AGRA has been participating in the FOCACA since 2019. The first FOCACA taking place in December 2019. You have to mind that timing. So we had a very big vision for China-Africa cooperation in the agricultural sector, but then the global pandemic hits us. So for nearly 3 years, we faced a lot of challenges. Most significantly is the maneuver of capital and resources and humans. So we stuck a little bit due to unforeseeable circumstances of the COVID. But the second FOCACA took place in 2013, and that has issued a lot of new policies. And I want to draw attention to one government documents from China that in 2023, during the BRICS summit in Johannesburg, and the Chinese government issued the China's program supporting agricultural modernization in Africa. And climate resilient practices and mechanization are all included in this document, this government policy. In my memory, it is the first time for China to issue such a document, a government policy written down and vividly shows China's attitude towards the problems of food security here in Africa. And they have pointed out the only way out would be the modernization of the agriculture. We do need more technology, especially climate resilient technologies. We need more equipment, no matter in farming or in processing, and we need more infrastructures such as warehousing. And if we can combine all this together, we'll have a brighter future, and Africa don't have to worry about food security. And I have to, regarding my milestone, may I suggest that every African practitioners in agricultural sector pay attention that AGRA will be hosting the first Africa-China Agri-Tech Industrial Cooperation in late June here in Nairobi. And we're gonna bring leaders, thinkers from both sides, Africa and China, to combine their knowledge together. We're gonna bring investment, FDI, financial institutions, development financial institutions together to Nairobi. So we're hoping that we can create an atmosphere that all the FDI from China, from Asia, can mount it up here in Africa, especially more and more of them will going into the agricultural sector, not only by money, but also with know-how and technology. That's the most important we need.